Hey, what's up, YouTube? Hope everybody can see me good or not. I don't know, but we're gonna go with this right here. How you guys doing out there? Hope everybody's holding up good. We're still in this COVID thing we got going on. However, I showed y'all my little snuff, my little tiki man snuff. I don't know if I showed you guys this before, but it's one I made when I was bored. I cut about three faces on the side, just practicing, giving them all little different goatees. But anyhow, it's a cigar snuff. So if I don't finish that cigar that hour, I can come back to it later on that day or something. Because sometimes it takes a while to smoke these bad boys. But anyway, and I might have a link in the description to show you how I make them. But anyway, like I said, how you guys holding up? Want to talk to you guys about we're gonna say people right now. I don't know. I'll figure out what to name this later when I go back and review it. But do you think the world is gonna go back to what it used to be like? I mean, before all this internet and money, cash, and all this kind of stuff, people used to have to actually grow things and work with their hands. And we did a lot of trading. So, like, say for instance, I grew a lot of corn, and you had a bunch of trees, and you lumbered a lot of wood or something. So one day I might need to build me a shed or something, and hey, maybe you want to start you a garden or have enough food for, I don't know, so let's say a few months or something. But of course, you're not going to eat just corn, but we can do some trading. I'll trade you some corn for some wood. Well, we know all that's long and gone. Somebody came up with the idea of making money. And whoever came up with that idea was pretty genius about it, because money really doesn't have a value. The same piece of paper, but if I paint a one on it, it's, $1, right? But if I paint a one with two zeros, that's $100. Same piece of paper. It's just got different painting on it. So whoever came up with that idea was genius, because I say this. He had to make himself a bunch of it, for one. Two, when you convinced people that money was valuable and they took it, and you were the one who created it, oh man, you was winning, because you can make as much money as you want and don't have to say nothing to answer to nothing about it, right? So say for instance, I'm working for you, right? You used to pay me in bushels of beans and peanuts and things, right? But now I come to you, you're like, we're not paying in that kind of form anymore. There's a new kind of a currency. I'm like, currency? What is that? Oh, let me tell you, currency is, we're here. You see this piece of paper, everybody knows what this is worth. So you can take it and save it, and collect as many of them as you like. One, because I'm sure people should have known how to count by then. So one is one, another one is two, three, four, and so on. So, and you don't have to worry about them spoiling or deteriorating like you would food or whatever you're trading. So you can wait to use it when you really want to and give people this. So I said, I'll take it every tongue tied. I'll take it if everybody in the world is really along good with that, you know? Yeah, I'll take it if everybody's really on board with that. So everybody was pretty much aboard with it, but to get the money around the world, you got to give some of it away, right? Because I'm sure you're not going to tell everybody your process of making this money. Because if you taught everybody how to make money, like physically make it, not make it by earning it, but physically make it wouldn't really hold a value because, like nowadays, we call it counterfeiting, but I can need something. I just go home and make something, and there it is. So it wouldn't be no real value behind it anymore. But it's losing its value now, we know, but still. Anyhow, you would have had to give it to some people, and most of the time, you're going to give it to people you know. You're not going to just give it to any old body, you know. So some people be wondering how people were born like this in the riches and this and that, and you got kings and queens and all this and that. Well, these people came from those kind of eras, or people who had that money. That's where they actually came from. So they was like really born into money. That's what born into money really is about. But then you got people that came after that was still born into it. But we talking about that was born into money when money first came around. So you paying people like that, right? As time go on, the world starts getting more populated. Everybody's on board with money now, right? And let me remind you, while everybody's still fighting about the Chinese and everything, right? Chinese was the first creator of paper money. So no matter how bad we don't want to admit it, them Chinese was always a step ahead of us in terms of we're gonna say knowledge. I'm gonna put it simple. We're gonna say as far as knowledge goes. And of course we know technology, but before all that technology came, they were still on board more than we were because they was able to create the paper money first. Now, with America ain't shit. America ain't nothing. So don't even say nothing. America didn't make nothing like that. The first coins, money coins, I think that was developed in Europe. This was around like 600 BC, somewhere in there. And then the paper money with the Chinese, that was around like 700 BC, somewhere in there. You can go look it up, but it's close enough for me. I almost tapped it. Remember, don't tap it. Let it fall off. I'm in my man cave. I don't care where it falls. So it do what it do down here. I don't keep it too warm down here. That's why I'm in here with my smoking jacket on, because it's a little chilly here. But I don't waste energy heating up this place. I'm down here, and most of the time I'm down here working around, moving or doing something. Right now I'm just chilling, so I'll be good. It's just me down here anyway. It's always just me in this part of the house. This is my man cave. But anyway, folks, as time went on, the world got overpopulated and stuff like that, man. And we start fighting over land and things like that. Now, imagine how big of a world we would actually need for everybody to have their own piece of land. Everybody couldn't even own their own piece of land. We don't even have that much. I mean, we do, but everybody know most of the world is covered in water. Now, when they figuring it out, but when people actually start wanting to live on the water, I mean, like platforms and like these oil rigs and things like that, living on the water like that, and we might have something, going. But until then, we was living in caves, tents, just straight up sheds and log cabins and things like that. And we still had land, but like I said, the world got more populated. So people are starting getting more greedy. People are starting to get more greedier. And, money still got its value, but, hey, people want more. Now they got money and land. So then you got some genius said, hey, everybody can't own a piece of land, right? And that piece of land right there is too small for all you people to live. So what I'm gonna do is build an apartment building. People living on top of each other? Man, that's crazy. But it was done. Now imagine people living on the top of each other. I mean, in one little small square area. That was ingenious right there. Same people that can never own their own piece of land, but they can own a piece of money, right? But you give me this piece of money, and like I said, I'll build an apartment building. You just give me such and such a month, a year, or whatever, however they started out doing it. You just give me that a year, and you can live right here. But this ain't yours, but you can live on it. This is mine, but I'm letting you live here. That was ingenious. Whoever built the apartment building. I mean, the world is greedy, but at the same time, it's smart how they do a lot of things. Between, like I said, the money, the apartment building, you got only so much square feet of land to where originally, let's say, if they only lived side by side, that it was only 10 people. Now you got 10, 20, 30, 40, and they're all in the same square foot. And you making like quadruple the amount you would on just regular flat land. And if you look it up nowadays, the Chinese, they know. That's why they keep building up. I mean, there's no more room to even go out. So the only way for them to go is up. But anyhow, then you start having all these neighbors because everybody is getting overpopulated. So many neighbors because all the land is being owned. I mean, some land, everywhere you look, land is owned by somebody. If it ain't owned by somebody, it was owned by somebody. Now it's owned by the bank. You can buy it through the bank or however it goes, but it was owned by somebody. And most land now that looks like it's not owned, it's owned and it's used for agriculture and things like that. We still have to grow food. We still have to produce food. We still have to raise cattle and things like that. I mean, I know you got some crazy stuff going on nowadays where they trying to come up with like smart meat where they're cloning stuff, but that's in the future crazy stuff, but we're still sticking to the land right now. But everybody's so overpopulated, there's no room for nobody really else to grow or go. I mean, nowhere to go but grow up if you can, or if you can try to own a piece of land. If you can, get it. If you can't, then you missed out. And it depends on what part of the world you stay in. You don't even really own your land. I mean, you can technically own it, but the real thing that's dirty, you got to pay property tax. Now, if you don't pay property tax on it, somebody take it. So basically what that tells me, even though you bought this land, you still renting it from the government. You know what I'm saying? You still renting it from the government, man. And if you stop paying that rent, no matter if you've been paying that property tax for years, but as soon as you stop, they're gonna take it. It's not really yours. At least in some places. Some places you don't have to pay property tax. They charge you more for the land, and that's cool. And I'm good with that because the places that do charge you property tax, let's say that property is worth $1 million, right? $1 million for somewhere that you don't pay property tax, and where you pay property tax, you pay 500,000 for that land. Now, as soon as you hit that million mark by paying your property tax each year, you think they're gonna say, "Oh, here, don't pay no more property tax. You own it now." You just $100,000 away from that 1 million mark, but as soon as you miss that payment, shoo, they take it all away from you, man. That's crazy here in America. So with everybody being living so close and this and that, you got your own little piece of the property or whatever. You got your dang on neighbors, right? Man, let me tell you, I got some crazy neighbors. I know I've been rambling on and on, but man, sometimes the world just the world just cracks me up, man. When I say the world, I mean people. And I say people, I mean neighbors. Now, most of the time, we know we got to try to get along with our neighbors, right? Because we want to live by somebody that's going to at least, you know, be at our benefit. And what I mean by be at our benefit, when I'm not home, the only thing I expect you to do is if you're home, you see something crazy going on around my house or outside something, to let me know or say something, just kind of be like neighborhood watch, everybody together like that because we care about our community, our neighborhood. Now, we ain't worrying about we can't see like 10 blocks away and things like that. We're not worried about what we can't see, but we're just worried about what goes on right there in our neighborhood, at least as far as the eye can see. So, what kind of commitment do you supposed to have with your neighbor? I mean, you can borrow a tool, you know what I'm saying? We can laugh and joke, we can share beer, we can have a stogie together, stick, whichever you call it. I like to call them sticks. I got a neighbor that like to call it a stogie. And one just straight up call it what it is. It's a cigar, man. It's a cigar. And that's how he said it, a cigar. And speaking of him, I'm gonna tell you, at the same time, you know not to trust your neighbor as far as you can throw him, right? You know what I mean? This dude, boy, let me tell you, one time he was talking to me and he a penny pincher, right? He was telling me, man, what he'd like to do. And I started to really drive him and, crack on him about this, but I just said, let me shut up because I want him to spill all the beans of what he gonna tell me. But anyway, this dude tells me, man, sometimes on his off days when it's just him around the house, when he take a hot shower, he say he killed two birds in one stone. I'm like, what you mean you killing two birds in one stone, man? You know, I'm gonna try to record these dudes one time. I don't know if I can get. I'm gonna find one of them sneaky cameras where I can record people while I'm talking to them and they don't know I'm recording them. Cause I can't go set up a tripod and do this with them, man. They wouldn't even. I don't know. They might, but they wouldn't spill they. They wouldn't be they self. My stick is burning funny too, y'all. Up there it go. It just fell right there. This is a good reason for me to get up and relight, but I'ma chill. I'm just gonna let it do its thing, man. Fuck it. But he tells me, shoot, man, I don't even like to cook when I'm by myself, right? He said, what I do is I take me a hot shower. He said he'll let the hot water run for a minute, right? He'll get him a pot of hot dogs. I mean, this dude is, I don't even know if to say he's country, man. He said he get a pot of hot dogs. He put that in the shower with him. And what he do is he let the hot water run on the hot dogs. So he don't have to boil them or something, he said, to that extent. I'm like, what? He putting hot dogs in the shower with you. I'm thinking, man, what the hell else you doing with these hot dogs? So that got me to thinking real crazy about my neighbors, man. You can't even take time out to boil no hot dog. Or nuke it in the microwave or something. You know. Then he gets to talking about his wife. Why she got some kind of paranoia of cars. You know how they got agoraphobia people that's scared to come out? Well, she got some kind of phobia behind driving cars or something. So I asked, was she ever in a car wreck? Whether it was she driving or she was someone else driving. He's like, man, not that I know of. She just don't want to drive for herself. So, and some man come by and picks her up every day that she works with. He takes her to work every now and then, but some man come by every day picking your wife up, taking her to work. Keep in mind, this dude got 3 cars. She can drive anytime she want to, you know. And but some man taking her to work. He could even take her if he wanted to. I mean, he's not at work at the work at time. I can understand her getting a ride home, but hey, to each his own. But anyway, about that neighbor, I got this other neighbor, right? Oh, man, I tell you, like I said, is another country one. This is the one that he calls them stogies. He called a cigar stogie. This dude he's cool though, man. You don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say I grew up with him, but I used, back in my days, in my teenager or early 20 days, I used to live in the same neighborhood as this guy once before. I used to live right by him. So when I moved over here, he was already in this neighborhood. And I was like, oh, here we go. I mean, it wasn't like nothing bad, but you know, as we became adults, I know I've changed. I wasn't sure about him, but you know, I was on the assumption that, hey, this guy's probably like he was back then. So I don't really want nothing to do with him. But seems to me he has changed, but not bad like changed, but he changed for the better, but he still seems a little bit off. But anyhow, my neighbors, I let them borrow tools. I let them do this and that, you know, drink a beer with them. But one thing I won't do is, like I said, I'm not going to eat my neighbor's food, man. I'm not going to eat my neighbor's food. I done seen him cook some crazy stuff around here. I done seen him cook what you call them damn things that live in groundhogs. I seen him cook a groundhog with some regular wood. We just got out the backyard. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but we got septic tanks out here, man. So that water that them trees are drinking, all that don't make it's not good to me. I mean, it might be, but to me, it doesn't flow. It might for some, but it doesn't work with me, man. Trees is drinking piss water pretty much because everybody know how the septic tank works. The septic tank stays full with water. All the feces and everything settle to the bottom, but the water, piss, and all that, it flows on out. And it goes into like a leach field, which eventually goes in the ground. And whatever is back there, grass, trees, whatever, that's drinking that water. So he used that wood on top of that. It's a nice day out there. But anyway, this is what gets me, one thing that got me with him. This dude come over to my house one time, all happy and shit. He's shaking his jar, it looked like dog crap. You know what I'm saying? And he's chewing on one of them. He's like, here, man, try one. I'm like, what? Hell no, man. He's like, man, just try one. I'm like, man, what the hell is that, man? I ain't trying that. I don't know why people think it's because you say try it, you gonna try it. But anyhow, he said, man, it's boiled peanuts. I'm like, man, what the heck is boiled peanuts? I mean, this stuff was all slimy looking and brown. I Googled it. I say, okay, yeah, I see some people, but everybody put their own recipe in it, right? He's like, I'm like, well, what's in it, man? Oh, I can't tell you that. Oh, you can't tell me. No, I'm sure not eating it. But anyhow, to make a long story short, don't you know this guy had nerves for his feelings to be hurt because I wouldn't try one of his doggone peanuts that look like dog poop that's constipated. You know how it be all lumpy? It was like regular peanuts in the shell, but it was slimy brown. So I'm like, man, nah, dude. You can keep that. So he constantly trying to talk about the peanuts, man, to where I had to tell him, like, look, man, looks like you're getting a little bit salty in your feelings. I'm gonna let you go because he came. I'm gonna keep in mind, he came to me. I'm on my front porch, carving something, smoking and carving. He came on my property, asking me to try one of his nuts. I'm like, man, nah. So anyhow, man, my point is he figured since he was my neighbor, I was obligated to try one of his slimy dog poop looking peanuts. With all that being said, I know I went a long round about stuff, but I just wonder that's what I'm gonna call this one, your neighbor or something about your neighbor. But where do people get their commitment, or where do you draw the line of your commitment with your neighbor? I mean, sometimes, man, neighbors, I don't know, but that peanut stuff was off the chart to me. I mean, if my own mama came to me with some stuff like that, man, I'm like, I'm not trying it. And I'm thinking to this dude, I'm telling this dude, where do you get off in your head to think I'm going to try it just because you my damn neighbor? I had to tell him to go, man. Of course, he been drinking too, so. But anyhow, I had to tell him to go, man. I ain't with, I talk to you when you out of your feelings and you're not so salty. Then he kept talking about, man, it's just only a little peanut. Don't do like that over a little peanut. I'm telling him, right, it's only a nut. Think about what you're saying. It's only a little peanut. Get out your feelings over a little peanut. You keep saying a little peanut, but think about what you're saying. Remember, it's only a peanut, okay, brother? See you tomorrow. Well, folks, I don't know how long this video has been going, but I got some more things I'm gonna talk to you guys about. I don't know. I may have another cigar to review. I have already did the review on this one before. I'm sure I have done a review on this one before, but anyway, peace out. Talk to you guys at another moment in time. Stay safe out there. Corona is still around. We holding it down. We're gonna get over this. Bye, guys.